another episode of Behind the Dreamers. I'm your host, Jennifer Loading, and we are talking to the achievers, the creators, the magic makers, and the dreamers. These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Well, I am so excited about my guest today. This is going to be so much fun. I have been waiting to chat with them since the first time I met them. I love what they're doing. I love their story, their mission, all of it. They are a father-son team that created a social enterprise with a mission to spread happiness. Makes my heart happy hearing this. They bootstrapped their business into the world's largest sock store with multi-million-dollar revenues. And they've been named EI's Entrepreneur of the Year. And I think what I love about this story even more is what they're doing. But one of the entrepreneurs in this journey is a 27-year-old entrepreneur with Down syndrome. And so I love their mission. I love what they're doing. And so we're going to welcome them on in just a minute, but we got to do a quick shout out to our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Productions. Need to add excitement to your YouTube videos or some expert hands for editing? Look no further. Walt Mills is the solution you've been searching for. Walt is not only your go-to guy for spicing up content, he's the force behind a thriving film production company with numerous titles in the pipeline. Always on the lookout for raw talent, Walt is eager to collaborate on film and internet productions. With a background deeply rooted in entertainment and promotion, Walt Mills leverages years of skills to give you the spotlight you deserve. Want to learn more about Walt and his work? Head on over to waltmillsproductions.net and let your content shine. All right. So now that we've done that, I'm so excited to get them here. John and Mark Cronin are the creators of John's Crazy Socks. Together, they are showing what people with differing abilities can do because more than half of their colleagues have a differing ability, which I think is so amazing what they're doing. They're fierce advocates for inclusion, having testified twice before the U.S. Congress and spoken at the United Nations. They're sought after keynote speakers, and they've recorded 2 TEDx talks and are frequent guests on network television. They say they create a unique customer experience and develop a workplace culture that leads to an engaged workforce. And additionally, they show their gratitude through their Giving Back program, which has raised now over $650,000 for charity partners. So Mark and John, welcome to Behind the Dreamers. I'm so excited to have you both here today.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We are excited to be here. Thank you for having us on, though. John has been aging. So
did we get a wrong age here? Is he older now?
He's now 28.
Well, happy birthday, John. We messed that up, didn't we? So happy birthday to you.
But you are a dreamer.
I am dreaming. I can be.
You're living the dream. Huh?
Living the dream.
You are living the dream. I'm so excited. And unfortunately, yes, that age thing does catch us every time. It doesn't wait on us, does it? We wake up and it's a new year. Every time I turn around, I feel at least.
Well, it's better than the alternative of not having birthdays.
I agree. All right. So let's talk about this because you guys are dreamers and that's what this show is about. And we got so much to talk about, but I want to start off. Tell us a little bit about John's Crazy Socks. Tell us how this came about for you both.
Well, we'll tell the story.
Yeah, Dad.
Go back to the fall of 2016, and our story starts in a small log cabin in the woods.
No.
It starts on suburban Long Island outside New York City in a town called Huntington. And where were you?
I was at a Huntington High School. I could be my last in school.
So you mentioned that John has Down syndrome.
Yes, I am.
If you have a disability, you can stay in the school system until you either graduate or turn 21. And then you go over what's known as the 21-year-old cliff. Okay. Because when you're in school, everything is right there in front of you. All your classes, therapies, for many, that's where they get their food. It's daycare. But once you're done, you're on your own. So John was getting ready to leave school.
Yes.
And you were trying to figure out, like everybody else, what comes next. And what were you looking at?
I look at a job, program, and school. I can't find programs that I don't like.
Didn't find anything he liked. And this, Jennifer, is an unfortunate reality.
Yeah.
There just aren't enough opportunities for people with different abilities.
Right.
But John here, he's a natural entrepreneur.
Yes,
You
I
didn't
am.
see a job you wanted. What'd you say?
I said I want to create one. I want to make one. I told my dad I will go business with him. A nice father and son being together.
I
Which
love
is
it.
pretty cool. I've got 3 boys.
Yes, you are.
Ah, I'm a lucky man, right?
Yes, Dad, you
3
are.
boys, and this is one I could work with.
Yes, I am.
So then we had to figure out what were we going to do. And you have a lot of ideas, right?
Yes, you do.
We can how we can tell that John is thinking hard.
I smoke in my ears.
Smoke comes out of his
Oh,
ear. So what was one of your ideas?
One of it a fun store.
Fun store.
okay.
I kept asking him, what would we sell in a fun store?
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, it'd be fun. What was another idea you had?
Yes, I'm sorry. A food truck. I come idea for the movie called Chef. And one other actor, John Favreau, in a neat movie about father and son bonding, bonding a food truck.
So, everybody out there, you've eaten at food trucks.
Yep.
Everybody loves food trucks. We're thinking, what could we make? Where would we put the food truck? But we ran into a problem.
We can't cook.
Yeah, we can't cook.
That's
So,
a problem.
Yes.
but then, right before Thanksgiving, the U.S. Thanksgiving in November, John, you had your eureka moment.
You did. I want some crazy socks. Why sock? It's fun, it's colorful, it's creative. It always let me be me. I want crazy socks my whole life.
So we figured this, Jennifer. If he loved them that much, surely other people would too. And we
Yeah.
could find those people. So you already had the name.
I got a name. I told him website come ideas.
We went the lean startup route. We said, let's just get something up and going. Let's take action. So we built a website, got a little bit of inventory. The only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page, and I would take out my cell phone, and we made videos. And who do you think was in those videos?
I am. I talk about socks. Socks, and more socks.
I love it.
But we noticed people started sharing those videos.
Yes.
And we opened in mid-December, not knowing what to expect. And on the very first day, we got a flood of orders. We got 42 orders.
Wow.
And most of them were local. And we lived in Huntington. He's in high school. We had temporary office space there. So we decided to do home deliveries. We got red boxes, put the socks in the box. And what did you add to that?
A thinking note for me and candy.
A thank you note and candy.
Oh.
We loaded up the car, drove around, and you knocked on doors delivering socks.
Yes, it did.
How'd the customers respond?
Customer responded to love the socks. I took a picture with me and a customer and the box of socks and share it on social media. Really, I get that spread.
We had customers ordering again just to get John to come back to their door.
To get him to come to the
Yeah.
door. Love it.
And there were some funny moments, right? It's just the two of us doing all this. So it's after 10 o'clock at night, and John's knocking on doors. Just John with your socks.
That's me.
I'm just bringing the
So-
socks. Oh my goodness.
So by the end of that month, really 2 weeks, we had shipped 452 orders,
Wow.
and we knew we had something.
Yeah.
We didn't know how fast it would grow. We didn't know how big it would grow, but we knew we could grow a business. Today, how many socks do we have?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
That means John owns
Yes.
the world's largest sock store.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Wow.
We've been able to create 34 jobs. 22 are held by people with different abilities. We've shipped 450,000
Yeah.
packages to 88 different countries, and we're now over $700,000 in the money raised for our charity partners. And you like to say,
I just said sickest started.
just getting started.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. This is such a good, warm, fuzzy story. I love it. These are the stories that I love. I think this is so amazing. And that's what I think makes the world go around, or stories like this. And I love that you guys took this dream. And John, kudos to you for making your own dream, figuring it out yourself, right? Like if you can't find a job, you just create your own job. That's what it's about. That's the
Yeah,
entrepreneur spirit. I love it. And then not only that, taking this company and growing it from the ground up, grassroots effort, and understanding the value of customer service, and then creating this culture within your organization. I love all of the pieces to this story.
We've been very fortunate, and it's interesting you talk about, the dreamers. We remind ourselves and our colleagues all the time. We get to live a dream. We get to run an organization the way you would dream about doing. And we have no excuses. We can't blame it on headquarters. We can't blame it on the board. It's just us.
Yeah.
And if we want to do something, we can do it. And you wind up having an obligation to those dreams.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So I'd love to know, John, what's been the best part of this for you? What have you loved about this? What's been most fun in all this?
the most fun I've just been there. I've just been there. Like I speak up. I speak up. I speak up. Other people,
Yeah.
and showing my color can do. Um, I like having more people with different abilities. And it's fun about I think it's fun about it because I have a job created.
Right?
Yeah.
We're creating the jobs and then showing the world, right?
Yes, Dad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Well, you created, when you go back to the story, when you were talking about create the fun job, you created the fun job. You just had to figure out what the fun was going to be. And you guys kind of
Right.
created that, right? So you brought that whole element into what you're doing now.
well, and people often ask John, what's the favorite thing you do on the job?
Yeah,
And then he just lists everything he does.
probably. I could see that. Yeah. Well, I think this is so awesome. What a great story. I mean, I think, it's hard to start a business, right? It's always hard to go in those beginning grounds and get into that. But then once you find it, and you guys found that thing, those socks, I love it.
In many ways, the easiest part is getting started.
Yeah.
Once you start growing,
Yeah.
then in lots of ways it becomes more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And you have more obligations to more people.
Right.
But getting started, it's, our biggest enemy is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Our biggest problem is between our ears. That's where I'm incredibly fortunate to have a partner like John, who's just, okay, we'll go do this. There are always folks that will look at a situation and tell you why it's too hard and it can't work and it's too expensive and we're not ready. And then there are those people that roll up their sleeves and say, okay, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we get this done?
And I see John being that person.
I'll give you an anecdote of a story that I think exemplifies this. So we go back to January of 2017, and we are learning firsthand nobody buys anything in January because they spent all their money at the holidays.
Right.
And we're trying to figure out how can we sell socks. We're just getting started. And that's when we learn that people wear crazy socks to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day. When's World Down Syndrome Day?
World Down Syndrome Day is March 21st.
Okay.
Because you get Down syndrome by having an extra 21st chromosome. For your audience, all of us humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. People with Down syndrome have a third 21st chromosome.
Okay.
So the third month, 21st day is World Down Syndrome Day.
All
And it
right.
turns out people wear crazy socks to celebrate that. You would have thought we knew that in advance, but we weren't that smart. So at that time, we were only selling socks made by other people. So we go looking for a Down syndrome themed sock that we could sell. Nobody made one.
Mm-hmm.
But what does my partner say?
Let's make
If
it.
nobody makes one, what do you say?
I said I want to create one. I want to make one.
And he designed the world's first Down syndrome awareness sock. Because, okay, we'll go do it. And for John, it was so obvious and simple.
Yeah.
And here's the neat thing. So now we have a whole line of Down syndrome themed products. But this year, we made the official sock of World Down Syndrome Day, working with the National Down Syndrome Society and Down Syndrome International. And it's a pair of socks designed by a young woman with Down syndrome and made by a company owned by a man with Down syndrome. So it's pretty cool. And and funds from that are going to go to Down Syndrome International and the National Down Syndrome Society.
That's a great story. Yes. And, everybody needs a cheerleader, Mark, right? And you guys are a great duo team. I think that, in business, it's great when you guys have such a dynamic force here, because it's so great when you can have, the pragmatic and the dreamer come together to create a business that works. And so I think it's great that you both are dreamers, I know, but I think it's fun when you have a great motivator back there to keep you moving.
It is. And, we have different approaches. John carries the bail money and keeps me out of trouble. John is the one who likes to follow rules.
Thank you, Father.
Mark's like, no rules. I love it.
We've been fortunate to return to some of the schools that John attended. And in fact, we're on the advisory board for the tech school. And we go back, and the teachers and the principal in particular, they're all so glad to see John.
Yeah.
And then he says to me, so Dad, when you were in school, were the principals happy to see you? And I'm like, well, there used to be this chair outside their office.
What you did.
and it would be, okay, Mr. Cronin, what'd you do today?
That's good. They're not quite as happy, John, right? They want to see you. I love it. This is such a good story. I love it. So you guys, you've done some TEDx talks. You're speaking all over the place, right?
Entrepreneurs, are you ready to level up your leadership skills? Tune in now for an exclusive offer designed just for you.
This is my time.
Did you know 63% of consumers prefer businesses aligned with their values? Recognizing your core values isn't just vital for business growth, it's the bedrock of effective leadership. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or an aspiring creator, identifying your core values is a key step in constructing the framework of a successful leader, enabling you to lead authentically, expand your business, and live life on your terms.
Never settled on play, putting the kettle to flame. I go 100 all day, foot on the pedal, no brakes. 10, 9, paid on my dues, waited in line, 8, 7.
Are you ready to access tools to kickstart your leadership journey? Unlock a treasure trove of insights and get your free resources at www.linktree/JenniferLoading. Take that crucial first step toward realizing your leadership aspirations and elevate your leadership game today.
Ready to shine, brighter than
Yes.
Well, part of our mission, and John was talking about it, we want to show the world what people with different abilities can do.
Yes.
And that gets made manifest in everything we do. So we start with John.
Mm-hmm.
You have Down syndrome?
Yes, I am. I have Down syndrome. Down syndrome, I never holds me back.
No.
That's awesome.
And we don't put John in the back.
I could be in the front. I could be a face of the company.
He's the face of the business.
Yeah.
And then we hire people with different abilities. And we could dive into that if you want. But, just know we don't give out jobs.
Yeah.
Everybody who works here has earned that job. If you get to know us, you'll find that John here is a very nice guy.
Yes, I am.
I am not. If you're going to work here, you got to produce. So is that. But that's not enough. We want the world to see. So we create content all the time for our social media platform.
Okay.
You're always making videos.
I do.
You like making those TikTok videos.
Yeah.
I think he's got like 65, 70,000 followers on
Awesome,
TikTok.
John. Good for
A
you.
250,000 on Facebook.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
we host tours.
Okay.
So we've had more than 2,000 people come through here on a tour, mostly high school students and clients from social service agencies. We host work groups. In fact, right before we came in here, John was welcoming a work group this afternoon.
Okay.
It's a group of students that will come once a week, spend an hour or two here, and just get some experience of working. But they get to come and see people like them who are
Mhm.
working or starting a business. And that's
Mhm.
very important. And it gets to be encouraged. We take on speaking engagements. Look at this, Jennifer. You have us on your podcast.
Mhm.
How fortunate are we? Right? To tell the stories, to show, don't tell, as to why it's good business to hire people with different abilities.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, we do a lot of speaking engagements. You like that, right? You like to travel.
Yeah, they do.
And I think every time John stands up in front of an audience, he helps change people's minds.
Yeah.
And we also do advocacy work. We're fortunate because of the business, people will listen to us.
Yeah.
And that creates an obligation to speak up. So, yes, we've testified twice before Congress. Given the way things are, we have to add we were not subpoenaed. We went willingly.
Right, right.
We meet with elected officials to push on legislation to advance the rights of people with different abilities. I mean, I'll give you an example. Another fun story. We were down on Capitol Hill one day,
Yeah.
and a customer from Houston called the office and said, my mother works on Capitol Hill, and she's a big fan of John's. Do you think she could meet John? And our colleague said, sure. Here's Mark's cell number. Have your mother text her information. Well, who was mom?
And Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh.
So now we get to meet with Nancy Pelosi. And we're in a bad way in this country.
Yeah.
Too often, if we disagree with you, we vilify you, we tear you
Right.
down. We lose the sense of humanity. So I don't care where you are in the political spectrum. Nancy Pelosi, at her heart, is an 80-year-old Italian grandmother. We go in, she greets John so warmly and is so nice. And you know how it is. You watch how people treat your children,
Yeah.
and she takes out pictures of socks that she had given former President Bush the elder, because John, you and President Bush had become somewhat famously sock buddies, right? They exchanged letters and socks. And all this is warm and wonderful. But you see, we now have this opportunity. So then but Miss Pelosi, we do have to talk to you about repealing Section 14C of the Fair Labor Standard Act that allows employers to pay people with a disability as little as 5 cents an hour.
Mm.
And so we get that opportunity. We have to speak up about that.
Gotcha.
And you roll all that together and you get John's crazy socks.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Wow. Lee, thanks for sharing all of that. So yeah, I can see how this is keeping you busy too, trying to do all these things and get the message out there and the traveling and keeping up with the business. And
Well, was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we're driving to an early morning talk. We're going to speak to a business group. And John, who's not really a morning person, but he's sitting in the car next to me, and you looked over, and what did you say? Do you remember?
Yes.
What?
Dad, I farted.
No, not that. Not that I farted. You say that sometimes. You said, I love being an entrepreneur.
Yes, you do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right? You said, I love being an entrepreneur. And he was looking at his calendar. John's very organized. And you said, I have important things to do from 8 o'clock this morning till 9 o'clock tonight.
that's right.
How fortunate are we to have things to do that matter?
I love it.
That people, and you love it, right?
I do.
This is so awesome. Yeah. So, and I love, like you mentioned, we've talked about this several times, your culture that you've created within your company. And I love that you said that John's the nice one and you're not with the people that work there. So tell us a little bit about this culture there. What's it like working at John's Crazy Socks?
Well, we are a mission-driven organization. What's our mission?
Spread happiness.
Spreading happiness. And that drives everything we do. And what do you say are the keys to happiness?
Gratitude and do for others.
Gratitude, do for others. And we built it on 5 pillars. Inspiration and hope.
Inspiration and hope. Give it back. Find products you can love. Make it personal. Make it a great place to work.
Make it a great place to work. So let's take that, make it a great place to work.
Yeah.
We have 5 kind of pieces to that. 1, offer people a mission worthy of their commitment. Something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Something that matters. Something you can feel proud about. And it can't just be, we're going to make money.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. We want to make money.
Right.
It turns out we like to live indoors. You got to pay that rent.
Right.
And then 2, make sure everybody knows why his or her job matters. There is no cog in the machinery. There is no make work job. Everybody's job is important. Everybody is contributing to that mission. And I've had friends who own other businesses say, come on, Mark, that's a lot of malarkey. How could everybody's job be important? And I look at them and say, well, if the job's not important, if it doesn't matter, why are they on your payroll?
Yeah.
Right? People need to know that. They need to understand that connection. 3, put people in a position to succeed. Don't ask someone to do what they can't do. John does many things, but we don't ask him to manage our finances.
Yeah.
And give people the support they need so they can do great work.
Right.
If Kenny, our lead packer, needs a particular chair, why don't we get him that chair?
Yeah.
If Nick, our webmaster, needs a tool for the website, why don't we get it from him? We can't do everything. We're a small business. We don't have endless resources. But give people what they need to work. 4, say thank you. Recognize the work people do. Don't you like it, Jennifer, when someone looks at you and says, I was listening to that podcast. You do a great job getting guests and prepping and asking questions.
Yeah.
We all like to be recognized.
Right.
It's part of that gratitude. We are fortunate to have the people that we, on our team, to get to work with them. They're the ones that make everything possible. And then 5, stay the hell out of the way.
I like it.
Let people do their jobs.
Yeah.
Right? So if you do all of those things, and if you believe in that, you'll create a workplace that people want to be here and they thrive.
Those are good lessons. Thank you for sharing. And I agree with all of them. I do think it's important. And I think a lot of companies miss the mark on that because they're too busy micromanaging and putting people in the wrong places. I love all of those points that you brought up. Do you guys have those plastered up on your wall somewhere? Or you just all know them?
We share those. We talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
The spreading happiness, that's the criteria we use to determine our budgets, allocation of resources, how we're going to approach things. The idea of gratitude is built into so much of what we do. You have to keep repeating it. You got to keep putting it in front of people. You'll know you believe when you're willing to spend money over it, or give up money over it, give up revenue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, this is such a, it's interesting. This is such a, I had this conversation with somebody earlier that I was talking about. We were talking about what creates successful entrepreneurs as a whole. And we were talking about, and I think you guys are going to love this because we talked about finding your talents, finding where you're good, pairing that with your values, right? And then connecting with people. We talked, that was like the summation of what we came up through in our point of conversation. And that's what I feel like when I talk to people all the time, these are like the overarching, the overarching values, the things that come up are kind of similar, but I love it. You guys touched upon all the important things. And I love the spreading happiness, because I think in environments, when people are happy and they feel valued and they feel important, they feel heard, they do better work. They show up differently.
They do. And if you take care of people, they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
I shared something yesterday, right, on LinkedIn. We're on Long Island outside New York City, and we got 6 inches of snow or something yesterday. And it had me thinking of a snow day, a couple of decades ago. I'm old, so I go back a ways. And at the time, I was leading a healthcare management firm.
Okay.
And we provided management services for HMOs and managed care plans around the country, though it was based on Long Island. Customer service, claims processing, and provider support and things. So we had a snow day, and our client plans and their enrollees and doctors, they didn't care if it was snowing on Long Island. They just wanted their services. So I knew the snow was coming, and I got up real early to get in there and start laying out contingency plans when we started missing a lot of people. Well, we had over 100 employees, and all but one showed up at work.
Mm.
And that was a day when, their kids were going to be home, where they could have rolled over and gone back to sleep. They would have been paid. But everybody cared enough about the work they were doing, and they were treated well enough that everybody showed up.
Wow.
I was ready to weep, because this is what you dream about.
Yeah.
And, what could we do? Well, we ordered Chinese food and brought it in and had a big lunch together. And at the end of the day, I got some cakes and we celebrated. And you could just feel how proud people were. Like, no snow was going to stop us.
Yeah.
Look what we can do. But to get there, you gotta get by it. You gotta treat people well enough that they're willing to do that.
Yeah. That is so incredible. Oh, it's a good story. It is. And I love what you guys are doing. I just think it's amazing. I know I could say that 100 times. I think it's a great story, and it's evident by the success, what you guys are doing putting out into the community, and the success of the business, that you're doing the right thing. You're leading in the right way and with the right mission and passion. So I say kudos to both of you. And John, you are remarkable. I love it.
Thank you.
I would like to know, out of all your tons of socks that you have, what's the favorite sock? Like, what's the one that everybody loves?
Everybody loves down this room superhero sock with a cape, the back, and my face on the socks.
Oh,
He designed it,
I
and his
designed
face is on it.
Yeah.
Turned himself into a superhero.
Yes.
I'm going to have to get some of them socks. That's so awesome. I love it. Good for you. It's such a great story. Such a great story. Well, this has been incredible. I'd like to know, because I'm guessing that after people hear this and we get this thing, people are going to be like, where do we find these crazy socks? I want to get a pair. Maybe they want to follow you guys and watch your story and what you're doing. Where do we want to send them?
And
Where do they find us?
I go at johnscrazysock.com.
johnscrazysocks.com. And here's the deal. You're going to get socks that let you express yourself, right? You like to say, they let me be me.
Yes.
You're going to get great socks. We have over 30,000 5-star reviews. But it's more than that. When you buy from us, you help us employ people with different abilities. You help us give back, right? We start with 5% going to
A Special Olympics.
Special Olympics. But most of all, you help us spread happiness. You put those socks on, they're going to make you feel good.
I'm going to be happy. I love it. It's such a good story. I could talk to you guys forever. This is such a great story. I can't wait to get this out. I'm excited. It's so much fun. John, keep doing your thing. Keep spreading happiness and keep cheering on your friends and colleagues and encouraging people to do great things, because that's what this is all about.
Thank you so much.
It's been fun. It's been fun.
Okay.
And what we'll do when this gets ready to go out, we get all our little bells and whistles on there. We'll make sure we get you guys tagged and everybody knows where to find you, and make sure our audience knows to go pick out some socks. I'm going to get on there. I want to go see your stuff. I looked at some of it. I want to get back in there so I can follow you guys and keep up with all your good happiness.
Well, and let us know when you publish it. We'll share it on our website and on our social media too.
Absolutely.
And if there's ever something we can do for you, Jennifer, let us know.
We'll do. All right. Well, it's been great. I'm so excited for you guys. And I think this is such a good story. So with that, I do want to say to our audience, if you enjoy the show, head on over to Apple, give us a review over there, hit that subscribe on YouTube so we can keep sharing all these incredible, amazing stories. They're fun. And with that, I always say, in order to live the extraordinary, you must start. And every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, be kind to one another. We will see you next time.